game, and when you turn it over, you're in real trouble, which we were tonight, and that certainly skews your defensive field goal percentage. But the bottom line is, we have been better taking care of the ball, we've been better defensively, and tonight we definitely took a step back and they took advantage of it. And when you're not getting that defensive connectivity, you're not getting the movement that you have to have on offense either. And we didn't have that. We had it early, we didn't have it enough, we tried a lot of different things, zone and man, and we just did not cut hard enough. We said one of the big point of emphasis tonight was gonna be screening, whether it was man or zone. We didn't do a good enough job with our screening by any stretch. But we made mistakes defensively that we haven't been making. Leading shooters, gambling, trying to make plays that weren't there. And that connectivity started with the communication. And it just wasn't there. And when it's not there, we're certainly not good enough. Our margin for error is certainly not there to be able to overcome it if we're not locked in to where we've got to be on the defensive end. And I think more than anything, that's what hurt us.
Questions?
Tom Anthony said he even sensed in warm-ups that guys were lethargic, including himself. He didn't feel focus was there. Did you pick up on that at all?
Well, I think, no, not as much, but I mean, that's good. He pointed the finger, and he also pointed himself, and that's a good sign of leadership, because I think that the way it's set up, with senior days, that changes things, right? But no, I think, it's emotional for senior night, so that's gonna play into it. Tyree, Jordan, those guys are a little emotional with it, but we've had really good practices. I don't know if we got off to a good start. We just didn't stay with it as much. But maybe it's just the fact of the matter is, I mean, if he said it, he's probably right. But the bottom line is, it was a different warm-up because of the time being spent out on the court. And that's a tough deal. I've never had senior night in my life. I've been being in this league till after the game. But I mean, it's a league rule, so that's when we do it. But for 18 years, we did it after the game, for those very reasons. But we did, whatever we started out with, we didn't stay with, but again, it moved over to the defensive end more than anything else.
And I'm sorry, as a quick follow-up, is it discouraging that at this stage of the season to still be committing this many turnovers? And
Disappointing, but we're not a consistent team, and we haven't been all year. So inconsistency has been the number one weakness of our team all year, and we've been playing better. But the defense and the making the simple passes are a big part of that. And there wasn't anybody on our team tonight that was a great ball mover, cutter, let's really operate. But there also wasn't anybody on our team tonight that took the reins defensively like we had been. So in that sense, it's disappointing, but it's part of our immaturity and it's part of our inconsistency.
Coach, you almost literally played perfect first 5 minutes, 7 for 7, and I think you only had a missed free throw in that entire game. What changed after that? They seemed to be much more discombobulated after that, and I'm not sure if when you called a timeout, but was there anything that you saw specifically that they got away from?
Well, yeah, we stopped cutting as much as we need to cut, whether it was man or zone, right? And cutting, getting the ball into the middle of the zone. Like I said a bit ago, the screening was going to be a huge part tonight. Screening man or zone, so we create some help situations and make the next kick. But we probably, for a little stretch there, started to think about our own offense. Really, then we kept thinking about how much it needed to move. And that's the immaturity of this team. It comes at times when we get a lead. And we've got to grow through that. That's part of building the program. It's part of getting the culture right, the way we have to have it here. Because that's the maturity part. It's not about the offense. It's about how much you continue to put stops together defensively, how well you rebound the ball. When we were in transition, we were good, right? We were really good. But there were too many times we weren't in transition, and then we became stagnant. We've got to continue to grow out of waiting for the ball, right? We're a cutting, moving team. Penetration, kick, and we struggled with that. We struggled with that tonight. So it didn't matter for a bit what we called, we weren't getting enough movement. And, but again, all that being said, it comes down to an aggressiveness on both ends of the court and a connectedness on both ends of the court that starts on the defensive end.
Coach, Anthony talked about their zone and them packing it in and saying it was hard because they weren't prepared for it. I'm guessing that wasn't the first time you'd seen that.
That they were or weren't prepared.
he said they weren't.
Our guys?
Yeah, Anthony said they
We
weren't.
spent the majority of the time on the zone the last 2 days because we wanted to move it with screens. And we knew that they would go to the 3-2 or to the 1-3-1. But it is packed in from the top. That's why we gotta get the cuts and drives off of the slots and more movement out of the corners. But again, there wasn't one guy on the team that I would look to and say, okay, they kept cutting and getting us great movement tonight. But it's a top-heavy zone, right? It's a top-heavy zone. That's why in a 3-2, that's why screening, okay, and then flashing in behind it, you know, from the wing area, or from the wing or corner area, is what we need to do. And sometimes, and we showed them at halftime, there were a couple of cuts that, like, if Nike made 50-pound shoes, a couple of guys had them on. And I'm not gonna go anywhere, it's just, we can't play like that. So again, it's flash to the ball, right? Flash to the ball, screen the zone, make the next pass. And our immaturity came out in that. But bottom line is, like I keep saying, if you're getting stops, we're getting runs, we're getting runouts, and we're getting out and we're going. And we weren't getting enough stops. And because we weren't getting those baskets, that lack of cohesiveness on the defensive end calls.